All right, peace. Good evening. How you doing, family? It's Mr. R2 here at TBP Radio. We are about business, community, and culture. And today is a very interesting show. Just doing some research and finding out some of the things that I found out. I mean, it's pretty simple. But just so many extra stuff that's going on right now that I just want to put you on to. Again, that's why we always call it the things that you know or need to know just through research, what's going on in, Black America is, however you want it to be said, however you feel it needs to be said for something that actually resonate with you. So we're going to be talking about, I think, three things just to put you in the circle or put you in the mindset of the things that you need to know what's going on, with us within the Black community. So let's go ahead and bring it up. Definitely don't want to be long, but do want to be thorough to ensure the information is put out to you where you can actually disseminate the information to the people that you know or even communicate with others that you don't know. That may be a great conversation starter for you and your circle, just to ask the question, what do you think about this? Or what are your thoughts about that? Creating that dialogue could create some sort of synergy. It will definitely put some energy in the room, good energy at that. Put good energy in the room just so you can just have a real good, transparent dialogue with your folks and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Um, Before we start, let me get this right before we jump with 2 feet. All right, so we're talking about the things you know or need to know. The things you know or need to know. So the first thing we're going to be talking about and communicating about today is the HBCU and the NFL draft. So the HBCU and the NFL draft has not always been. Um, I would say I will put it this way: the HBCU players have not always been uh, the place that the NFL goes to. And I think that, especially with Deion Sanders going to Jackson State, has definitely put some eyes on the HBCU players. Not that there wasn't any great coaches before that, especially Grambling and Southern, PV, TSU, stuff like that. But he did kind of put a lot of other people on the map. It wasn't just him. I'll say that. For some of y'all out there to say, well, there was coach such and such before such and such, but Dion did actually assist with pushing the culture of the HBCU players forward in a direction that is progressive. So shouts out to Dion and his staff of team and the coaches that surround him and the players that benefit, from him coaching. So the HBCU last year in 2021, there were no HBCUs drafted at all in 2021. So this year in 2022, there was actually four players that was drafted out of HBCUs. So the first player was actually drafted out of HBCU from my home city and home state out of Fayetteville State, Mr. Joshua Williams. He was the first HBCU player picked off the board, and he was actually taken by the Kansas City Chiefs. So if the Chief is your team, they have some HBCU pride that they picked up this year in the 2022 draft. And he was picked up in the fourth quarter, 135th overall pick in the fourth quarter. And then later on in the draft, around the seventh pick, the Los Angeles Rams, they collected a player by the name of Jacoby Durant from South Carolina State, and also the reigning MEAC Defensive Player of the Year, Jackson State eager rusher James Houston, the fourth, who was actually from Dion's camp. So I know Dion had a pretty good, strong pro day at Jackson State. So this is a product of the energy that Dion has put in the air and the spirit of competitive energy that Dion put in the air in the JSU, and he actually had someone to go into the pros. So I'm sure the other players are hyped to say, hey, this is our first one since Coach Prime has been here, and there's many more to follow. The other players that went through was another 6th round pick, which was out of Detroit Lions. They picked one up. Southern University, they picked one. I mean, Southern University released one. He was a lineman. He went to the Chicago Bears. He was in the 7th round out of all of the HBU selects. So, shouts out to these 4 brothers who are definitely going to change some of the legacy and lineage that their family who knows, they might be the first millionaires in a family, so now they can begin to start and pave new ways and sow new seeds to have new harvests in their family. But I'm sure just because these 4 were the only ones that were picked, I'm sure there was a lot of other ones that got, that beast in them. So they may get picked up maybe out of, on the practice team, or they may get picked up undrafted, but they still have the ability to play. They just got to get on that practice squad and actually put in some work to get themselves in a potential position to actually play and to be a starter. So for those that are out there that know somebody, just keep them encouraged, to let them know that just because you was not in, you didn't get that phone call from a draft, that does not necessarily mean that your career is over. You have the ability to still go if that is your dream. But being an NFL player, that is a big dream for a lot of football players. And I'm sure when those who make it into that, they're a part of that 1%. So being a part of the 1% of those individuals who make it into the pros, these 4 brothers is definitely starting something great within their family. All right. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is very, very interesting. And I say interesting because I remember ads, the Cools ads with or the Camel ads, or Newport ads, the Newport 100s. They'll put them all the way up front in the store so you can buy it, just like they do the malt liquor, just so we can buy it. Heavily in the African American community, especially on the back of a lot of magazines, whether it was Jet or Ebony or a lot of other uh, highly read magazines. They will put these ads in there, and they will have black people on the ads just to show that it's cool to smoke, or he's doing it or she's cute on the ad. Well, maybe I can that will make me look cute and appealing, as well. So I know that I'm not the only one to have ever seen a ad for cigarettes, especially back in the day, cigarettes that was targeted the black community. So right now, the menthol cigarettes have been historically heavily marketed towards the black Americans, and it has been strong enough impact that the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA actually proposed a ban on menthol cigarettes yesterday, which was 2 days ago. So it would have been Friday. They put it, their proposed a ban on menthol cigarettes, and the agency specifically noted that because of this move, it could possibly save lives of 92,000. They said between 92,000 and 238,000 African Americans, that may, have the ability to have lung cancer and stuff like that, from them, smoking that addictive menthol cigarette. So I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of, I don't know. Jokers want to sue everybody. They might have a case. I don't know. That's just I don't know. So this is one of the ads. I'm pretty sure some of y'all remember these ads that was targeting our communities, that was reaching out and putting themselves in a position to where it's cool to smoke, especially those the movies where they had the real long cigarettes sitting in their fingers, and it made it look cool. Not to me, because I never liked the smell of it, so it didn't look cool to me. It looked like a whole. It looked like it stank. That's just me. It looked like it stank. Big long cigarette with the smoke coming out on the end, and then they came out. Remember the candy cigarettes? They were fake, but it was candy. And it prepped you to smoke. I don't know. I didn't smoke, but it was kind of like it was preparing you to go to that next level. It was preparing you to say it's cool to smoke. So I want to know what the real thing looked like. I bought this pack of candy cigarettes and I'm seeing these ads like this ad right here, black man with an afro and a sister with an afro, and he got this cigarette with his clenched fist. Like it really made it cool to be black and to be and to feel empowered, but the cigarette made you look dominant. I don't know. It made no sense. Like as you can see the ad, bold, cold, Newport. Right? Bold, cold Newport. I've never really seen a Newport ad with a Hispanic person on it. I've never seen a Newport ad with the Asian person or even an Anglo person. I've never seen a Newport with the Anglo on it that is talking about is cool to smoke. Them some another ethnicity out fishing with a reel and a Newport in their hand. I've never seen it. I have seen targeted Marlboro ads, targeting, the Anglo community, to make it feel like it's cool to smoke with them. So I think it rides both sides of the spectrum. They make white people think it's cool to smoke Marlboro. The country boys smoke Marlboro, whatever, smoking a Marlboro, but they make the black people like you cool if you smoke the Newport Long, the 100 with the menthol in it, or the camel menthols or whatever it is. I only know it because I did some research, but I remember those ads and stuff like that. So that wasn't cool. So hopefully that with the FDA possibly banning menthol cigarettes, it could actually save lives. So I pray that it does. That's a large number, 238,000 people, or 238,000 lives that they can save, because they put a ban on it. So I don't know, maybe you need to look at what else need to be banned as far as from the FDA. People put a lot of things in their mouth and they consume those things and they have long-term effects, on it. So I think they're looking at it from that perspective. What are the long-term effects with menthol? Because you have been pushing that for a long time. So yeah, I'll leave that alone. All right. So the last thing, not the last thing, but the second to the last thing. So one of the things that, of course, everybody has heard, Elon Musk has bought Twitter. He purchased Twitter. I think it was $44 billion or something like that. But the Black Twitter community, they may be at risk. I'm just saying the Black Twitter community is at risk. Why? I mean, that's the things that they're talking about, because the sale of Twitter has actually raised concerns over who will have access to Twitter, as well as the potential for hate speech and exploitation of private data. I'm sure Elon Musk has already talked about this. If he has not, I'm sure it's going to come up from now to the next 100 days about what is going to stay on the platform, what is not going to stay on the platform, um, you know, or what's new about the platform that they're going to roll out. I'm sure it's definitely going to play in his favor. If you have all the information as far as Twitter goes and you're continue to launch, like Elon Musk just brought in another company into the Austin area. It's a company of his called The Boring Company. That is one of the weirdest names that I've heard. The name of a company. So he brought in Tesla. He's bringing in The Boring Company, and it's been also mentioned that he is going to move the Twitter headquarters from Silicon Valley in California to Austin. So yes, that looks great as far as job goes, but when it comes to data, uh, what are the potential? What's going to happen? So if Black Twitter gets hit up and they're looking at pushing out information that the Black culture communicate with through Twitter, then I mean we're going to find some other way to actually push information. So do I think it's a threat to the black community with black Twitter? Not really. Why? Because not a lot of people actually use Twitter, but it's really going to affect those who use Twitter to receive information and those who use Twitter to communicate back and forth. They're just going to find another means or another social media platform to push the agenda, or another social media platform that's going to allow you to receive information as well. So if Elon Musk and his new set of rules or new set of initiatives with Twitter actually tear down black Twitter, I would say don't worry about it. There's other ways that we can communicate, but until that happens, keep pushing, keep doing what you're doing. So Elon Musk, people was asking, what you gonna do for the black community on that end, but what you gonna do for the communities that your businesses that you're bringing in Texas going to do? So you're employing a whole lot of people. I'm sure that you're getting some tax abatements somewhere in those cities. So what are you doing with the tax abatements? I'll leave that alone. All right, so the next thing we're gonna be talking about is community events. So I only got one community event that I want to put out there right now. Let me go ahead and get this Eventbrite link for you so you can have it. So this Eventbrite link is for peace. Good morning, Miss Williams. Let me go ahead and drop this link inside the chat. Let me show you. All right, so Texas Workforce Commission is actually going to be here on Wednesday. So if you are an employer and you have employees and you want to know what are the new programs that Texas Workforce Commission has for the employer, make sure you click that link just so you can go ahead and get your ticket so you can be a part of this luncheon that the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce is doing. This is a open invite to you to push information out to your circle of business owners, the people that you know that own a business that have employees. Make sure you push this information to them because it's only going to make the small business community stronger, especially those who are looking to hire or those who have already hired employees. Now, if you are an employee and you're not an employer, there's some information that is still there for you that can help you when it comes to understanding your rights as an employee because you're listening to what employers are supposed to do. So we can help and aid and assist you with learning what the employer thinks because they're gonna be sitting down with the commissioner of Texas Workforce Commission, which is Commissioner Aaron Demerson. He is the commissioner. They're saying he is a representative for the employer. So all employers, your representative is going to be in Killeen on Wednesday for a luncheon. So make sure you click that link that I have inside the chat and go ahead and register for that luncheon on Wednesday at 11:30. So I think that's it. But one thing I definitely want you guys to know and understand that I appreciate you. I appreciate all that you do. I appreciate all that you've done, just being a part of this journey, this digital journey, because a lot of times, especially in the digital space, especially as creators, um, it feels like we're doing it and we're doing it alone. But to have people that actually show face, or actually people that actually communicates, during the live or whatever, that rejuvenates our energy to keep doing it and to keep going and to keep pushing. For all my digital creators out there, I know you feel me. You know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so I think that is it. And here at TBP Radio, I want to thank you and I appreciate you. You guys be blessed and enjoy the rest of your evening. And remember, tomorrow is another day for you to be successful. Today is May 1st, first day in May. April flew by. All right, you guys be blessed. Peace.